Okay, so this is something I'm trying. I don't really have the table space to do this kind of thing very well because I'm not good. This isn't a game that takes up a lot of space, but I still don't have enough space for it. I think I can approximate some things by since I'm only going to be a single player, I don't have to have every element out at a time. This is a game called Call to Adventure, right there. It is by Brotherwise rules. It is for 1 to 4 players. Just a moment. Okay, so I have tried to start this a couple times, and we might have a visitor coming in to watch in a little bit. Uh, as a note, I really don't have the space to do this kind of thing. This is kind of an experiment. And plus, I'm really enjoying this game. I got it with a gift card I got for my birthday. Got told to get something whimsical because that's what birthday money's for. And this is part of what I got. And this is a board game called Call to Adventure. And give me a moment. I might actually be able to get the box lid up. Yep. Thunk thunk. So this is the box lid, Call to Adventure. It is designed by Chris and Johnny O'Neill. It is by Brotherwise Games. And as you can see down there, it's for ages 13 and up, and it is for 1 to 4 players. They have promised to do... Oh. Hello. They have promised to do other genres, but so far the only expansions are for licensed fantasy things, so we'll see if that ever happens. Um, the art is very pretty. Yes, we're recording. I went ahead and started. Uh, okay. Well, I'll try to get it back in later. So typical, you would do this with 2 to 4 players. Probably 3 or 4 is better, and you would each have your own character going through their story arc through 3 arcs, and they'd have 3 acts rather, and they'd have at least 3 events in each act. Because if you successfully complete 3 challenges, gain 3 traits, or some combination thereof, then you move to the next act. And at the end of the game, you count up how much destiny points you've gained, and whoever has the most destiny wins. I mean, I wouldn't really care about the scoring thing. It's just a neat little game that gives you basically writing prompts for coming up with a story. And it is a card game, so the prompts are fairly simplistic. Do this or do that options, but you're free to take those and go in whatever direction you want. Yeah, we usually have, and we tend to think in binary because culture kind of raises us that way. This is true. And a lot of things make the mistake of going with a choice that isn't really narratively interesting, like a certain 8th season of a certain comic, which I will not get into because it will hijack the entire thing. Anyway, so that is the normal thing. I'm doing the solo play rules. This is going to be, I did a live tweet of doing this solo, but I was using the base rule set, which is not how you play solo. So, when you play solo, you are playing against an adversary drawn randomly from the thing. And I got the Dark Rider. Adversaries normally go into the event decks, which are off camera right now. They show up in Act 2 and Act 3. They are an optional element, just like allies. Allies show up in Act 1 and Act 2. And they're usually adversaries are challenges for which you only have one choice, and that is defeat the adversary, because the adversary is not going to give you a choice. It's beat them up or that's it. Um, I guess you can read defeat because like you have things like the sorceress and the warlock, and I guess you could read defeat as befriending nano hostile. Right. Now the way it's going to go is our very last challenge has to be the Dark Rider. We don't have when we get to 8 other things. There's a little square that's popping up on my screen. That's probably part of my camera thing because I'm recording with OBS. Anyway, um, the when we get to our first 2 challenges or traits or combination thereof in Act 3, the third one is going to have to be the Dark Rider. And it's very possible that I could lose before I get that far, because if the Dark Rider hits 5 XP, I lose. Um, so some traits, whenever you spend experience or 1 experience or more to cast a dark rune, the adversary gains experience. Whenever I fail a challenge, the adversary gains experience. Whenever I gain a dexterity symbol, that's what this is right here that you can barely see on the fuzzy screen. Whenever I gain a dexterity symbol, you take an XP away from the Dark Rider. And if any player at the end of the game ends the game with less than 30 destiny, then the adversary gains 2 XP. And it is very possible to end the game and have the adversary still win because it got enough XP. Okay, so we're going to make our character, and what you do is in the base game there are 15 of these origin cards, 15 of these motivation cards, and 15 of these destiny cards. And you draw 2 of them, deal 2 of them out to each player, and they choose 1 for each. The destiny is normally kept secret because that has some big scoring information on it that you might want to keep secret from the other players as to how you're going to play. But we're going to do it since we're doing solo. I'm not sure whether you keep it secret or not in co-op, but okay. I think you do just for the narrative tension of it. So let's look at our origins, and I am playing this upside down, so I might be reading off the camera. Okay, so we have a pickpocket, which will start us off with a dexterity right away and a constitution, which is the stats that we need this. Now, that would mean that we could only gain 2 more dex over the course of the game, which would mean we would reduce the amount we could take away from them. It's once per turn. When you fail a challenge, you can pay to do it again. This is very much similar to the beggar that I played on my Twitter live tweet of it, where the beggar had, if you fail a challenge that was dex or charisma, you gained 2 extra XP instead of just the 1 you normally gain for a failed challenge. The other option we have is conscript. Whenever you fail a strength or constitution challenge, you gain an extra 2 XP. So here's the thing. What they mean by gain: when you are going to complete a challenge, this game does not use dice. It uses rune stones. And give me a moment. In every case, you're going to have the 3 base rune stones. If you spend XP, you can add a dark runestone. I'm not probably going to be doing much of that. And when you have, I'm going to take this. This is a score marker or a corruption marker. Um, oh, corruption marker is not visible on camera. There we go. Um, and when you have like a constitution, then you would also add a constitution to the mix. And you would take these and cast them out to get your results. I'll go into that more in detail when we actually have a challenge to run. What? it's it's idiosyncratic way of playing the game, I know. Mm-hmm. I'm I'm not too much of a fan of it, to be honest, because it's to get a good randomness to it, you have to you have to really scatter the pieces. No, if you lose a piece, you have to write in and say, "Hey, I need a replacement piece." Especially since the three core ones are not all the same. This is a downside of the game. It's still a very beautiful game and all that. So like this one has this at the end, which is draw a card, and this, which is a success. And this has this or this, which is a success or nothing. And this last one has this or this. So the core ones aren't the same. There's two that have a nothing back, and there's one that has a draw card back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a thing. Okay. That said, just this is kind of a little metagamey at this thing, but I think we're going to go for the conscript because it does give us Constitution, which is what we'll need for the final thing, and it does give strength can be used on the way up to that, and it leaves us space to earn more decks. It's a risk, but this is our origin. So our origin is a conscript. We get drafted into the army. Yeah. That also means that if we fail challenges, which I hope we don't do too much since that gives the adversary XP, um, if we fail challenges, we get more XP. Okay. So next, after that, I'm going to put this back in the. I'll put it off back in the box. And the next is motivation. So again, we have two. And let's see. The deck is playing to type. Tempted by darkness. And Soul Survivor. If you have no allies, once per turn you may spend uh, experience to gain a dark card. I don't like having no allies, but on the other hand, this power won't really help us much either. You can gain an extra dark rune when you spend experience to gain one, because anytime we spend XP to gain one or more XP to gain a dark rune, he gets XP. So this actually is a trap. And we would have to have two corruption levels. We would have to be at the very edge of being a villain by the rules of the game, which really doesn't matter. And again, yeah, I know, but it doesn't really matter because again, darkness in this could be is very archetypical. You could have it you could have the darkness be like a corrupt theology or whatever. They're just, you were tempted by the villain. And I definitely am not going to end up doing this because I like having allies if I can find them. I'm assuming you're more interested in Tempted by Darkness as well, Branwen. The narrative thing. Oh, that is so good. Yeah, no, that's it. Okay. Okay. Yep. So we're going to go with Soul Survivor, which means when we have no allies, um we can spend XP to get a anti-hero card, and that will go back in the box. Give me a moment. Okay. So the last is the Destiny, which is, this is basically your secret scoring thing for regular play. And our cunning villain at the end of game gain 5 tragedy points if you have that collection of abilities, and 1 for each. I think that's tragedy story marker in your story. Let me see. It's villainy. So that would be that. That one wants us to be a villain. And the other one is Intrepid Explorer. Gain 1 for each constitution or intelligence and 1 for each type of story icon in your story. So the more different types of story icon you can find, the more things you get. And it starts out as a nature. I'm kind of more in favor, even with the Tempted by Darkness, of this one. Because it's going to encourage. That's true. We got conscripted, and it's going to encourage a more variety of events because we'll do a little bit. We want some arcane. We want some justice, royalty. Okay, so now we've got set up. We're going to go ahead and put the field out. And the way this works is, in any game less than 4 players, you set up the act with 4 cards. With 4 players, you would have 5 cards. This thing right here is anti-hero cards, but these are specific anti-hero cards which are pulled out to be made into the adversary's deck. The adversary does stuff sometimes. Okay. Anyway, we have Harness Dark Power. Calm your. Oh, there's. Well, Dangerous Artifact. Armed Robbery. And normally you would have all the acts kind of up at once. You would only be revealed the ones that people had reached. So we would have Act 2 and Act 3 visible, and you would be able to. They would be out, but they would be face down until somebody reached them. And even if you hadn't gotten to Act 2 yet, if somebody else had, you could do an Act 2 thing if you feel confident. But let's see here. We got Dangerous Artifact, Armed Robbery, Childhood Rival, and Secret Royalty, which we can't get yet. So these 3 here are challenges. You have to make a toss of the coin of the runes to get them. and they have a difficulty of 4, which means, oh, 4, 4, and 3, which means you would need total successes of equaling that. Or you could, some of them have a +1 difficulty on them, so one direction is harder than the other. This one we can just pick up if we meet the requirements, and the requirements are you may only gain this if you discard a hero card or spend 1 XP. And up here are the rewards. So this would give a royalty and a charisma, or a villainy and a strength. This would give a charisma and a royalty. This would give a constitution and divinity, or intelligence and a dark card. This would give charisma or constitution and justice. So right now, this uses constitution, this uses constitution, this uses strength. So all of these would give us, we would be able to roll 1 extra on, and we don't have any XP to spend for dark runes, and we don't have any hero cards or anti-hero cards to play to do anything. I'm thinking I want to. We're a conscript and a soul survivor. I think when we're on the road as a soul survivor, I want to try to defeat. What is this? Defend your family. Which, we're a soul survivor. I don't think we'd have a family. How about resist the temptation so I can get the extra constitution? Good point. Yeah, I think we'll go for that. This will give us, we don't have any charisma, so we only have the constitution. Going to pull out, where did I put, oh, they're the dark runes. Okay, pull out the core ones and one of the constitution ones. Now it is important to note, each of the set of 3 stat ones have 1 stone that has these 3 dots on them. That is for when you've hit a score of 3. And those are get 2 successes, or that's here. So if it lands on this, that's 2 successes. If it lands on that, it's 1 success. The other one is get 2 successes or have something special happen but don't get any successes, unfortunately. So we're going to try to defend our family with a difficulty of 4 because it's a +1. There's every likelihood that we will fail this, but we'll try. I'm going to go ahead and cast the runes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually succeed. Awesome. Now, we did the bottom one, so we take this and we put it so that that is visible underneath our conscript. And now we have a justice thing and 2 constitution markers. And that is permanent part of our stats. And now we draw another one. And that's a Cruel Master. It gets placed on a challenge that already exists. And I think I'm going to put that with the Dangerous Artifact. It just seems a Dangerous Artifact goes with a Cruel Master. Okay. And okay. The next one is Prepare for War, which can give us build fortifications or plan the city's defenses. We don't have any XP to spend. We don't have a card to discard to get this, so we still can't get secret royalty. There is no dexterity on the field. we could go for to max out our constitution right away and resist temptation from the dangerous artifact, which I am reading as no, that's not an object of power, that's an altered item. It is going to go crazy and do nothing we want it to do. Make it go away. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's some like a lieutenant or an outrider, some sort of entity that they've sent to kill off this last survivor. Yeah. We are very small scale in this. I'm hoping to get secret royalty before the end of this. Okay. Um, but we can only get 3 from this act, sadly. Okay. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and resist the temptation to put down this altered item. Or if we go less supernatural and go with the war thing, this could be like uh, a bunch of like explosive set up somewhere. Yeah. And once again, that's full successes. Okay. Now, we get this with resist temptation. We have divinity and constitution. Our constitution is now maxed. Yep. Okay, I'll pause until then. Okay, and we're back. And we have this Cruel Master card, which does not count against the max 3 that we can get. It's an ally. Now, what we could do with this is you may sacrifice this ally to gain 1 heroism, which would move us up to more destiny triumph points, but also make it impossible to use anti-hero cards. I kind of like the idea of just sacrificing the Cruel Master anyway. It is an ally card. We can't, while we have it, we can't use our origin power. Uh, and if we use it right now, we won't be able to use our origin power because it lets us draw our motivation power because it lets us draw anti-hero cards. Unfortunately, not because it is not one of those. What I think we can do is we can keep it around and we can spend it to avoid getting to the bottom parts of the. Yeah. Yep. The destiny only counts at the end of the thing, but still it gives us some leeway in case we get corruption. So he is sacked. He goes back in the box. Okay. We had a cruel master teaching us some things. We got pulled in by like the old by our unit's leader who also somehow survived the battle, and we were just like, no, we're going to move and do this. We're going to use this thing here to strike a blow, and we resisted, and we said no. Yeah, this is true. You're right. Right, right.
The cruel master being our whatever leader that we had, who was probably attempting to use some sort of artifact.
Dark magic or something dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was sort of a fight on two fronts where we're resisting the machinations of our leader as well as
The
the
enemy.
enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So far, we have not had anything come up for the. We have not had this thing play a card either, because he only plays a card when we would do the get a card thing. So the adversary hasn't done anything yet. It could very well be the adversary is the cruel master.
It's possible, although
I do
don't
like. Go on.
I don't think so. I think it's more that, well, personally,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more this is the setup to like this is the origin of our character.
Right.
Do we draw another card or?
We do. We have to fill the blank spot. I was just waiting until we stopped for talking. Okay. So the next one is a mentor, which is another ally. We can put under childhood rival or the fortifications. I think with the war thing, we're going to put under fortifications.
Yeah, that's the plan.
But I want to fail a thing so that I can get secret the secret royalty. So let's see what else we got. Okay. We could just get Foundling, but I don't want it because it would end this act and we couldn't get secret. Um so we could go for either one of these would end if we get it. I am going to go for the fortification one. It does require strength, which means we are not going to be using our massive amount of constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that it is going to be a fail. Um, and I am going to go for, just so I have, I am going to go for the plan with the city, plan the city's defense. No, we're a conscript. I'm going to be going in to build fortifications.
Yeah.
Please fail. And I'll do this in a moment. It's a fail. And we draw a card. We get an experience. The adversary gets an experience because we failed. The card we draw, we could choose to either be, it could be either anti-hero or hero. I chose a hero. And it is Comrade in Arms, which requires another hero. We're playing solo. I should have taken this out, so I'm going to put it to the side.
Oh, that's good because we're sole survivor.
Yeah. And we get Divine Favor instead, which is, play this before you attempt a challenge to add an extra wisdom or charisma to your attempt. Which, and this, what?
Hey, that plays into our numbers.
Yeah, it does.
Also, we lost our mentor.
Yeah, the mentor dies in the city defense. Um, and the okay. Instill fear. Play this as another hero is attempting a challenge. They must choose another challenger trait instead. Ooh. Which means I would have to do this, because the next thing I would have tried is secret royalty. Or whatever it's replacing it. Give me a moment.
Why did you draw an anti?
Because when oops, when that this comes up, the adversary plays out of his deck. So my next plan was secret royalty, so I can't do that right now. There's Studious, which I can't do. I could spend the XP for it, but don't want to. There's Foundling, which I could just take, which I don't want to. Um, going to put this off to the side for recording. Okay, put this down here. So I'm going to go for the childhood rival thing and hope to lose again. I am going to go for win a foe's loyalty. Here we go. Oh, well, we get another card. We have 3 successes. We get another XP, and the writer gets another XP, sadly. And the writer plays a card, which is, that was a fail. 1, 2, 3. Because this is not a success. Choose any hero to sacrifice an ally. If you sacrifice your own ally, gain corruption and 2 XP. We have no allies. And this goes away. It just does nothing. And the childhood rival goes away. Our childhood rival beat our face in, and we didn't get it, or we just ran away from him. Go on. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. The good officer died in the city defense. We're down to just the last 2 of us. Yep. And the last one is Forbidden Lore, but we're not getting that because we're spending an XP. Oh, I get to draw a card too. And it's Brilliant Plan. Now, we could we could discard one of these, or we can spend an XP, which I think we'll do. And just, we are now secret royalty. The mentor told us this right before we died. Before he died. Okay. That might be why the Dark Rider's after us, because as an assassin. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. Fine. Oh, First Love would have been pulled. I'm pulling this just because. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Because there are no adversaries in the deck because we're playing solo mode. There's only one adversary. Because there is a ally card that if you get to the end of the game and there are undefeated adversaries on the field, then you have to discard them to no effect. It's the princess. So I was going to draw just to make sure, but we're done with these now. I'm going to put them in the back in the box. If we were playing a multiplayer thing, the people who hadn't finished with Act 1 would still be doing this, and you would still have it out. You would have them in tiers 1, Act 2, Act 3, going up. But I don't have that much room. Okay. So, Act 2. I'll be right back then. Okay, so let's see what we got for first one. What? Perilous Dungeon. Escape with treasure or delve into darkness? Vault of Secrets. That's where my character on the one I tweeted about found true love, or their first true love anyway. An ally. Spin to sacrifice this ally to gain. It's an informant. So this is like a one-off ally. You talk to them, they give you information. Okay, I'm going to put that into Delve into Darkness. Okay. And distant lands. Oh, with the explorer thing, I definitely want that. Um, and roving bandits. Okay. Now, our Dark Rider has some. Our Dark Rider has some XP on it. I think we need to get rid of that. And we can do that by adding dexterity to our pool. And we have 3 ways to add dexterity. 1, 2, and 3. I think we're going to try for this one first since it uses Constitution. The others use traits. We have some strength, but we don't have much. And I say don't much, we still have more than most people. I think we're going to try to escape with some treasure that were useful so we can get the dexterity. Okay. We don't have any dexterity, so we don't get any dex stones, but we get all 3 of the Constitution stones. So that diamond there with the there means we wouldn't get a success out of that, but we would get an experience point. It is a difficulty 4. In all honesty, we have a good chance of making that because we have a lot of Constitution. And that's 5. Okay. Okay, so we take this. We also get the informant. We put it over here. We are the Determinator. We we are just no. I'm living. I'm just gonna keep on living. And we have some charisma, and we have some strength, and now we have some dex. And we got some dex, so he loses an XP. Because the faster we get, the harder they have to catch up with us. It is spend an XP to sacrifice this ally to gain an intelligence until the end of turn. That'll be helpful. Um, there are 3 ways to gain dex, but I want this distant lands. So I'm going to be going for the distant lands, which doesn't really help with getting more dex. But Okay. New card. Yep. New one is Inspiring, which is Divinity, which we already have. Let's see. You may only gain this if you have Wisdom and Charisma. We have Charisma, we don't have Wisdom. Or spend 2 XP. We only have 1 XP. We can't get it anyway. Yes, but that's not permanent. No, we can only use divine favor in challenges. Um, that is about like tags on your character. Okay. So I think let's see. I want this to be last, just because it'll transition into the intrepid explorer. We have repel. We have the bandit, raging, roving bandits, or the vault of secrets. We were just in a dungeon that we escaped with treasure. Oh, I get a card. Parting of Ways. Discard and replace one revealed challenger trait. Gain +1 to your next challenge attempt this turn. So if I wanted to, I could discard one of these, and on my next roll, on my next toss, I would get one success already. I don't think I really need that right now. Um, so I think we're going to go to the Vault of Secrets, and we're going to try to unlock a secret vault. I am going to. I don't have any intelligence. We have the informant, and I have a brilliant plan. I could do both and get 2 for this round. Or I could just do 1 and save the other for another time. Well, we are the sole survivor, so I'm going to spend the XP to get rid of the informant, to pay off the informant. That way we are again having no allies. We're still in the dungeon at this point. We've just escaped the first part with some treasure. And now we're going to hear with 1 dex and 1 intelligence that is temporary. And I think, go on. Yeah, yeah, it's like, vestiges of nightmares and things. We want the dex, so we're going to unlock a secret vault along the way. We'll probably also maybe it's like we learned about our secret royalty bit. So maybe we've been sent to go unlock an ancestor's tomb for something. Okay. Yep. Okay, here we go. Going to try to unlock a secret vault. Okay. That is 5 successes and draw a card, which means the adversary is going to do a thing too. Uh, I am going to draw another anti-hero card. Relentless. Play this after you have attempted a challenge. You may attempt to do it again, adding a dark rune to the attempt. That doesn't spend XP, so it doesn't trigger that. That's nice. Let's see what he does. We did succeed at this though. And he loses an experience point because we're that much faster again. We're getting ahead of him. And we are learning the secrets of our ancestors. Okay, but let's see what kind of trick he plays. Harsh lessons. If any hero failed to challenge this turn, gain an experience. Sorry, that doesn't happen. Yeah, yeah, that's how we got an anti-hero card out of this. Okay, new challenge. Honorable. You may only gain this if you have royalty or experience. We have royalty, but I don't want that. Okay, So here, we can lead an expedition or discover the unknown. I want to discover the unknown partially because we're already maxed out on Constitution. And that'll give us an Arcana, which we don't have an Arcana story symbol yet either. Okay, so that is Intelligence, which we don't have yet, and all the Constitution ever, and is difficulty 4. I don't think we're going to need the Brilliant Plan for this. I mean, it's narratively a thing, but we're also the determinator of determinators, and it's using Constitution. Oh. Okay, so going to discover the unknown. Here we go. Oh my god. We got double what we needed. Okay. You would think, wouldn't you? It isn't really. The Act 3 is has some intense damage difficulty spikes. When I did the live tweet version of me just running through this the first time, I pretty much got through Act 1 except for one challenge at the beginning, the very first one. I went through Act 1 and 2 just easy. And then I hit Act 3 and it was like, oh! No, we're very clearly hero. Okay. Let's see. I know the Soul Survivor wants us to be an anti-hero, but oh, we can't use these. Dang. I drew anti-hero cards and I can't actually use them until like this drops. Pout. Okay. Yeah, this is fair. Okay, so here we go. Into the Abyss. Dark Revelation, which is Child of Dark Magic or Tainted by Dark Magic. Rogue Elemental or Witch's Den. Okay. Okay. Oh, the Dark Rider doesn't get to throw anything at us because we didn't draw. Yeah. Oh, narrative. Yeah. Yeah. What it is? Yeah. I'm active. I keep actively dropping into mechanics, so I tend to pause and think about the story and then go back into mechanics. Sorry. Um. So we've got Into the Abyss. We just discovered the unknown. And Into the Abyss allows us to do Journey into the Underworld or Rescue a Lost Love. Um, Dark Revelations, we can realize that we are the child of the Dark Lord or tainted by dark magic, or we can just have experience and get nothing useful out of the revelation. We have Witch's Den, where we can defeat a witch and get intelligence and arcana, or succumb to dark magic, where we get a card we can't use and tragedy points. And Rogue Elemental, which is extinguish the fire or harness living flame. I definitely do. If even it could be literal or it could be figurative, because we discovered the unknown in the family vaults. Intrepid Explorer. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think that just uses Constitution, nothing else. Okay. So, I Journey into the Underworld would not get us the Constitution because we're already maxed, but it is very narrative. And we have we don't really have a narrative lost love going on in our story. So I'm thinking, unless the one that replaces is interesting, we're going to journey into the underworld, and then we might find the witch's den, because our intrepid explorer wants intelligence, and that would give us intelligence. Um, that is both is also it's getting deeper into darkness, being pursued by this assassin. Okay, so let's take on the journey to the underworld. Okay, with all the constitution ever. Okay, here we go. And that is 6 to a difficulty of 5. We have journeyed into the underworld. Awesome. These crypts just keep getting deeper. Are we still in the world at this point? Okay. Force of nature. It's got a kind of a feral tree spirit look to it. We can restore the balance or enslave the forest spirit. And it uses charisma and wisdom, which we aren't really particularly good at. We have a little bit of charisma and we have a brilliant plan. I think either Dark Revelations or Witch's Den, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, and we're going deeper underground. We find some sort of like golem type thing, some sort of vile threat that is either working with the assassin or is something completely different. But we're going through it, and I think we're going to try to defeat a witch. We're going to use Dex and Intelligence, which we have 2 Dex and 1 Intelligence. I feel like might as well use the brilliant plan now because we won't get a use of it against the Dark Rider. So I have a brilliant plan for defeating this witch. Okay. And get another intelligence out of that. Yep. Okay then. Here we go. I'm rolling a lot less of the draw card. Or casting a lot less of the draw card thing than I did in my tweet thing. That is a lot of success. That that is 8 success against a difficulty 6. Okay. So, is this witch that we've just defeated giving us another intelligence and some triumph and an Arcana thing? Is this witch like a resident of the area we just uncovered, going deeper and deeper into these crypts, into the underworld?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the last one we have to do is the Dark Rider. The Dark Rider is going to catch up, or we're going to have the final confrontation with the Dark Rider. Now, the Dark Rider's base difficulty is 6, which is hard to see on my terrible screen here. But because we're doing the solo play and it's the hunt of the Dark Rider, their difficulty is increased by +2. So, that is an 8. We have 3 Constitution and 2 Dexterity to attempt this. And he uses Dex in that. None of our cards really work because we can't use either of these. And when this one is Wisdom or Charisma, it doesn't help us. So, here we go. We also don't have any XP to spend for a dark token. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but we draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and draw a hero card, which is Deny the Darkness, which I'm going to go ahead and spend right away to put us up to here. But he also plays. Tap into Darkness. Play this as another hero is attempting a challenge. Choose one rune of a type you possess and remove it from their attempt. So it doesn't make us redo this one. It's this one. It is now. So we would have to do it. I'm going to say we're going to have to roll again or cast again with one less. Okay. Of a type that they have, yeah, of any type, yeah. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. It's meant to be played by one player on another, but the solo rules, the co-op rules say if it says as attempting another challenge, they mean right then. So that would the attempt seems to read to me before you roll.
Oh, but the rules say that it's supposed, like with solo play, it's supposed to be this attempt.
Right.
So, what runes does the adversary have? What runes does
Dex and cons would be either. It would be. Let me see. It would.
So if we want to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
you remove the one that's most advantageous to it,
And we still win.
and we still win.
Yeah. Okay. We remove one of the, and this one isn't any more valuable. It's just marked with 3 dots, so you know which is the special one. We remove that, and we still have 9 successes.
Mm-hmm.
So, whew, we have defeated the Dark Rider. And if this were co-op, and other players would now go about finishing their rounds to see how they also helped defeat the Dark Rider.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that this is a good like first movie. It's got a lot of Star Wars: A New Hope vibes for me.
It totally does. It totally does. It doesn't have the rampant romance options that I liked out of for the shipping goblin that I am, but but so no polycules in this one. At least not in this movie. Maybe the next one.
That's okay. Not every story has to be,
A romance.
gazillion romances.
This is true. So now we would. I mean, it can't get up to 5 XP anyway. But we would pro forma. We would do the scoring to make sure we got over 30 points. Okay. So this is where, like in a lot of these games where everybody's doing their own game and not really directly interfering with each other, there's like a gazillion different scoring things in order to keep anybody from having an easy idea of telling who's winning and who's not, right? So let's see here. I say a gazillion like I'm disapproving. I'm not. I like that. It does get you those surprise victory things where you think you're behind the entire time and suddenly, oh, you're ahead. Flip side, you get, oh, I'm winning, and then you lose. But
I have to admit, I don't care about the scoring at all. I'm more interested in this as a way of like the story that we're coming out of it is more important than anything else to me.
absolutely agree. And I would play this completely just the base solo without the solo rules for the chance of victory. I mean, chance of defeat, just as a writing prompt, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in terms of game mechanics, I do enjoy if you have games like this where everybody's playing their own thing, and the interference is not direct. It's through cards like this that can do side things, right? It In that case, I am totally for these kind of rules that have a lot of the different scoring categories.
No,
To,
no, please explain the scoring to me. I'm still
okay, so the first thing you do is you add up all destiny points visible under the character cards, adding triumph and tragedy together. So triumph is these light colored ones. And we have 8 from being such a big hero. And we have 3 here, and we have 4 and 4. So let's see here, 8, 8, 16, 19, and that's all our triumphs. So we have 19. Let me get a. This is going to be upside down for the video because I'm writing it. So we have 19 triumph, and then tragedy is the black numbers or the white numbers in the black triangles. We have 2 here. From the Soul Survivor just gives us 2 off the bat, and that is it. We have 2. Okay. Then add up well, we would add the triumph or tragedy from position on the corruption track, which I already did. You add points from your destiny card based on the requirements you've met to get your triumph and destiny card, get your total. Okay. So for each constitution and intelligence, we get 1 triumph, which the triumph and tragedy matters because I believe there are some cards that say you can't gain points from triumph or tragedy or whatever. I think there's some destinies that alter the way you score things. So they have the triumph versus tragedy matters. If it in our case, triumph and tragedy are basically the same. But let's see here. We know we have 3 Constitution because 1, 2, 3, actually 4. It doesn't affect rolls, but we have 4. So, and then Intelligence 1 and 2. So we have 6 from that, and then we have 1 for each type of story icon. We have Arcana, Nature. Oh, Arcana again, so that doesn't help. Royalty, Justice, and Divinity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 from that. So from our Destiny card, we have 11 points. Okay. And then we add. Go on. Yeah. So yeah, right there. That is 32. We have soundly defeated this Dark Rider. This assassin has nothing on us. Then you add 1 point for each unspent experience token, which I have none. And then every hero card you played is worth 1, regardless of your current corruption. So we only played 2, and so we only get 2 points. We played Deny the Darkness and Brilliant Plan. These cards we didn't play don't help the score at all. And then we get points from doubling up story icons, which we didn't double up anything except for Arcana, so we get 2 points from Arcana. Which comes to 36 points. Which, for people wanting to play this as competitive, would probably be a losing score. I don't care. This is a fun. Yeah. I got it off of Amazon. Because my parents gave me an Amazon gift card for my birthday, and I bought myself a game.
Very nice. I've heard that they're doing like horror expansions. That would be really cool for me.
You did? That would be neat. I could only find like licensed.
Sorry, I've heard that they want to do a horror expansion.
Right, right. I want to see things like sci-fi and horror and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, like I said, if they did a horror expansion, that would
Hmm.
be good for me.
Yep.
But yeah, no. I mean, not that like this is so generic that you could skin it any way you wanted, really.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, we could have explained all of this without any sort of supernatural fantasy aspects whatsoever. And I actually I'm actually a little bit disappointed that their first 2 expansions are licensed things. I can see why you would do it. It's good business sense. I'm just a little bit disappointed because
Let me guess. One of the licenses is Game of Thrones.
actually fortunately no, it's Patrick Rothfuss's Name of the Wind.
Oh, okay.
So it's another unfinished thing, which I should not be sarcastic about at all given my history.
How far can it go?
There's a book. There is a book. I need to get it edited. Uh, which,
I'm sorry for being
yeah. I saw this way back on Game the Game when Geek and Sundry was still doing things other than video games. You know? I mean, not that there's anything wrong with video game content, but they had some really good, like, tabletop stuff going on.
they're called Geek and Sundry. There are so
Sadly, yes, and a lot of their best talent. Some of the remain. I think Erika Ishii does stuff with them, but a lot of their best talent, they just when they stopped doing tabletop stuff, they just lost to other channels.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
Hector,
mean,
go on.
actual plays are really tapering off at the moment, particularly in the World of Darkness space. But I think LA by Night having a hiatus has helped that a bit,
Hmm.
to quality get going.
Deny the Darkness, by the way, is just gain 2 hero points or give a hero point to somebody else.
Now, in terms of if you wanted to write a story based on this game, you could do like I can kind of see this one as a personal struggle against like depression or sort of thing. Like you start out as the conscript. There's a war going on. Lots of stress. You have a main character who is struggling with stress. Um, and it's all about just the inner struggle here is keeping on fighting, and then you've got the Dark Rider, which is a physical manifestation of that little voice in the back of your head that wants you to give up.
And that unfair burden of you are actually royalty. You have to do, yeah. That is, it's just like told out of nowhere. Yeah, you only thought you were a nobody. You're just that's why you were conscripted to keep an eye on you to make sure you were somewhere that you were supposed to be kept safe, but we got attacked out of nowhere. You're supposed to be learning what it was like to be the noble person, and you are actually the next heir to the throne, and you have to behave this way.
You thought your mentor was a parent, and they're supposed to like they were part of the army, and then you got pulled into the army because they were going, and they were supposed to be teaching you how to be a noble. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes secret royalty is a good thing. I don't think it was in this case.
oh no, no, that is why like that would have been why everybody died because the Dark Rider came in and knew who you were, and he was the one who killed everybody close to you to try and get you.
It
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're definitely building a story.
and just want to comment here how beautifully put together this box is.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of space for expansions here,
Oh yeah.
and the cards are just beautiful. I love the origin thing is this brown and bronze.
Mm-hmm.
Act 3 is the red and gold, and blue. The Act 2 is the blue and silver. And I'm going to go through here and remove all the allies and put them off to the side as well, because allies are supposed to be a optional thing. To me, it's like, why wouldn't you do that?
I will say, like, it's nice when you have a box like this where everything goes back together. Everything goes back together, like you pull everything out of the plastic. Um, you don't have to, like, very, very nice. You don't have to do what we had to do in Gloomhaven use a sorcerer, make your own trades so that everything can go back into the box neatly.
Oh,
I hear that Frosthaven they're working on that, but it's not
too many game companies do like that. It's just like we're just going to make sure we can get it in.
mm-hmm.
We're not going to worry about organizing it.
Oh, I think partly with Gloomhaven, it was
Okay. Yeah. And oh, of course, for all these things, you have the handy dandy how to score thing. Yeah. But again, like I said, I'm not really interested in the competitive added aspect of this. I will show this. This is the princess card. I think I showed it to you on Discord. And the True Love card, which is very Legend of Five Rings, or Rurouni Kenshin.
I also like how you can sacrifice them to dark runes.
It's actually corruption, not dark runes, but yeah. I don't the
Even better.
yeah, but the animal companion here, its ability, you can do experience or sacrifice it to gain constitution. So your animal companion can sacrifice themselves to make it easier for you to survive, or you can just spin XP. It's an ability.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I would also say that sometimes when you sacrifice this, there is not a literal sacrifice.
Yeah,
Basically, you're expending their influence in the story.
yeah, it's like being taken out in Fate or something else. It's they're not necessarily dead. It's that you have to separate from them. It's like in Three Musketeers, and D'Artagnan's a jerk, a major jerk, by the way. In the book version of D'Artagnan, he is such a jerk. Um, all three of the other musketeers are leagues better than him for all that they worship him. Anyway, there's a point where they're running and they have to get some sort of it's some sort of court intrigue, trying to get a necklace back to the queen so she can prove she still has it and avoid embarrassing her or something. And they get ambushed along the way, and each case is the one of the different three musketeers drops off to the side to fight off one of the ambushes until it's just D'Artagnan left to deliver the necklace. And they don't actually die; they come back later, but it is a sacrifice. Okay, so that's Call to Adventure. It is a very good game. I heartily recommend it. Even
There are still some cards past potential.
thank you, I would have lost those. Okay, that's right. Those were the cards that the Dark Rider played trying to kill us. Yep, there we go. Now I had a lot of luck with this. I didn't fail as many challenges, and if we I when you're playing with more players on the co-op, then the amount of XP it needs to win is higher. I could I when I played this on before with just the base rules on the live tweet thing, I failed so many challenges in the last bit. In the Act 3, I failed like 3 or 4 challenges, so it would have been close. That said, our character had like Constitution, 3 levels of Constitution, 2 of Dexterity, 2 of Intelligence, 1 of Charisma, and 1 of Strength. That is a well rounded character. Anyway, I'm going to stop recording. Bye. Bye.